If you're new to cybersecurity, this iceberg is going to show you all the certifications from top to bottom, beginner to expert, that you're going to want to get or at least look into to become a highly sought after candidate when applying to cybersecurity jobs. Let's get right into it. All right, let's not waste no time. Let's get right into it. The ultimate cybersecurity certification iceberg. I've seen a lot of iceberg videos out there on many different topics, so I thought, why not do one for cybersecurity or IT? Because I feel like this is a really good way to show people and really illustrate where the top is and where the bottom is. And obviously, I didn't do every single certification known to man in IT and cybersecurity, but I'm doing the main ones I know and the main ones I've seen on LinkedIn or top professionals having, all right? So, first things first, let's go ahead. So, the ultimate cybersecurity iceberg from someone who actually works in IT, all right? This isn't somebody that never done IT in their life. To give you a little background about myself, I got a master's degree in cybersecurity. I currently work as a network engineer, and I currently have the CCNP certification along with several other CompTIA certs. It's too many to list, like humbly, but I'm just giving you those stats to say that, I love what I do. I love learning new things. And I actually like to, show people how to get into IT because I think it's a really exciting career. So let's go ahead and get to the first slide. Google Cybersecurity Certificate. All right. This Google Cybersecurity Certificate is probably the most beginner thing you could do. It's great for, beginner cybersecurity knowledge. It's free to get. So like you see in the bullet point there, it's a no-brainer. And it's super quick to get. I think I had to do this for my associate's degree for one of the classes, and I kid you not, I finished this in like 5-6 hours, so you can really go through it. It is a lot of beginner knowledge, nothing too complicated. You're not doing no labs from what I can remember. I'm not sure if they added that in there. It's mainly just multiple choice. You read what they give you and they test you on the knowledge. But this is still a good cert to get because it tells employers or people that, hey, you're not just sitting around, at least you're trying to get a certification to improve yourself. So next one on the list is the CompTIA A+. This exam, taking it was annoying for me because it's so many different topics that it covers. Like I said right here, it's a mile wide and an inch deep. And what that means is they talk about so many things, but they barely go in detail about each and everything. It's still really good to learn the fundamentals. After you get this cert, I'm pretty sure you'll never need to question oh, what is this, what is that, and it's a good resource. If you keep your books and study material, that's also good. Let's say you don't even get the cert. If you just study for this, you're gonna get a good knowledge. But if you are trying to get the cert, if you want to know, this exam is gonna cost you about $253, and it's a part 1 and part 2, so it's gonna run you about $500. At the end of the video, I want to talk about what I recommend you do to avoid all these fees. All right, so make sure to stick around to the end. Next is CompTIA Security Plus. Again, this is mile wide and an inch deep for cybersecurity topics. The A+ was mainly IT topics. This is really cybersecurity. This is really good to learn. I learned a lot when pursuing the Security Plus, and it kind of gives you that extra oomph to keep going and get more advanced certs. Because after I got this cert, I was like, man, I could do anything. So I feel like it really gets the ball rolling when you get the certification. If you're in school, they usually give you a voucher for this, depending on what school you go to, or you can get the student cost, which is around $262. This is a really great beginner cert to get. After you get your Google Cybersecurity cert, if you want to skip A+, I would go straight to Security Plus. CompTIA CySA. This cert is great to learn more advanced stuff. It's going to teach you a lot of blue team information. When I took this, I also did it with TryHackMe. The TryHackMe learning path really prepares you to understand what logs you're doing and techniques that you need to know how to defend against. So this is really informational again when it comes to blue team tactics, how to use the risk management framework. It teaches you a lot of stuff. I would not say you'd be a professional blue team member, ready to hop on a job, but it definitely gives you a great insight on what you need to do, okay? This test is mainly multiple choice. I think I had to take 2 or 3 lab questions. So really not too difficult. I'm not saying it's an easy test, but if you study hard for it, I'm pretty sure you can pass it. Not too difficult. I think Cisco exams are more difficult than CompTIA exams. And literally talking about Cisco, we got the Cisco CCNA. So one bullet point here, and let's talk about this, is how can you secure a network if you don't understand how a network works? All right, so let's say you're trying to go into cybersecurity and you're boasting like you know all the cybersecurity stuff, but you know zero, nothing, nada about networking. When you go into a company, the company is literally running off of the established network that was designed and implemented. So when you try to implement cybersecurity solutions, a lot of the time it comes with securing the network. So again, how can you secure a network if you don't know how a network works and the ins and outs? So I think the CCNA is a really important certification to get because it teaches you the basics of networking, and you can lab out a lot of things to really expand your knowledge. Like I said, I think these exams are harder than CompTIA exams. You're gonna want to do a lot of labs, a lot of YouTube videos. I recommend Kevin Wallace, Boson as study material to use for this. And again, literally the last point, I will repeat myself. Be prepared to lab a lot of these network concepts because just reading it in the book is not the same thing as labbing it out. It will really solidify it into your brain when you lab it out. Next thing is Python, not just Python, C, C++, C Sharp, all the programming languages. The reason why I say that is because when you go into a company, they're not going to only want you to do like your job. Like let's say you hop into a blue team job, which is really repetitive. There's a lot of tasks where you got to check logs, see if it's a false positive, see if it's a false negative, investigate, unblock certain things, block certain things. So some of those things can get really repetitive, and Python or other languages will teach you how to automate these repetitive tasks. And I'm not saying they're going to force you to automate, but if you can show a company you know how to automate repetitive tasks and save company time and money, you're going to become a very valuable asset. And not only will you become a valuable asset, you're going to understand how code works to be able to look at exploits and defend against different things. All right. Code Academy is a really good resource. I use Code Academy to learn a lot of my programming languages. Python I learned more in the university. So depends. Most schools offer programming courses, so you should be good on that if you're already enrolled or plan to enroll in a school. They usually teach you pretty good. All right, next up we got the CCNP Encore, which is basically the advanced CCNA exam. CCNP stands for Cisco Certified Network Professional, which puts you at the top of somebody that would have a CCNA. And really looking at this bullet point, it's no cap. If you were a Charger RT with a CCNA, you should now consider yourself a Hellcat. Because, bro, this certification, trust me, you got to be smart and study hard. You can be a little slow and pass this test, but you got to... What I'm trying to say is you got to study really hard for this test. You can't slack off and pass this test because there's so many different high level concepts that you got to touch on and understand how each and everything works. The reason why I say this cert is lower in the iceberg and important is because it teaches you. If I said you need to understand how a network works with the CCNA, this thing is going to really show you what's going on, the ins and outs, and how to even modernize the network using different techniques and tools. So next up would be the CCNP Security. So the CCNP Encore is mainly like the core stuff. It's kind of like in the name Encore. So core touches on everything networking, but CCNP Security will really dive deeper into the security aspects. So if a company uses a lot of Cisco equipment and they see you got a CCNP Security, they're going to be in love with you because this cert is basically going to show them that the ins and outs of every Cisco cybersecurity either tool or piece of equipment. You're going to become really knowledgeable in things like secure endpoint, XDR, ICE, fire management, or FMC, umbrella. A lot of things that Cisco offers, this cert is going to prepare you for. All right, next up we got OSCP. Bro, you get this cert, you telling the world, man, no cap, you a certified G gangster when it comes to using Kali Linux, and that doesn't come lightly. Kali Linux has a lot of powerful tools in there, so getting this cert will definitely show somebody if you're applying for a blue team, or this is mainly for red team roles, but if you're applying for a blue team role, like, I don't know how they wouldn't get you if you show them you got this, because this is a really advanced cert that shows you how to exploit different things. Just looking at the syllabus that I put here, information gathering, vulnerability scanning, client-side attacks, SQL injections, which is a really big thing, exploits, all these different things you're learning ins and out. And I believe this exam doesn't even have multiple choices, mainly just lab. So you can't even you can't avoid not labbing this out, which is why I put it. Anything that you had to lab out fully and there's no multiple choice, just expect it to be, if I left it out, just expect it to be at the bottom of the iceberg. Because when it comes to those exams that you have to just lab it out, that's really putting, your knowledge to practice. All right, next up you got the Certified Forensic Analyst. This is going to make you super good at dealing with security incidents and how to handle them like a cybersecurity professional should. All right, you get this cert and you're going to be a valuable asset for a lot of companies that handle security incidents. A lot of contracts involve going to different companies and handling different events that happen. And I'm pretty sure your company or companies don't have a lot of these because, again, this is a hard cert to get. I know maybe over 100 IT people, and I know only maybe one or two that got the certification. So that tells you something. So again, this is a really great cert to have. You're going to be able to learn to solve cyber crimes basically and learn how to dig deep into what's going on with the digital evidence. All right, next up we got the OSEP, which is basically the more advanced version of the OSCP. So again, advanced pen testing techniques learned. You're going to enhance your expertise as an ethical hacker, and you're going to become a highly sought after talent when it comes to securing threats. There's a lot of pen testing rules, and these certifications, the OSEP and the OSCP, are going to make you really stand out if you're trying to be a pen tester or ethical hacker. Next up is the CCIE Security. So when it comes to developing, planning, designing, deploying, operating, and optimizing everything that comes with deploying cybersecurity solutions, this is going to touch on, right? You get the CCIE Security, and not only will you know how to use these different tools and pieces of equipment, you're going to know how to plan it, design it, and manage it once it's all done. So the CCIE is really a title or role that you can expect to be at the top of everybody, planning how every little thing is going to work. Only really downside of this certification is super expensive. CCIE Security or CCIE period, just plan to spend over 10K. I've heard people spending 15, 20K because they've had to take retakes. So these certs are no joke, all right? The CCIEs are so rare, you literally get a number besides your name. So right there off the bat, that should tell you something, all right? So that's the last certification I got in this iceberg. We touched on a lot of certifications. Like I said at the beginning, I did leave out a lot of other certifications, but these are the main ones that I personally know about. I'm talking about me, myself, and I, that I know about and would recommend to somebody and that I'm ranking. Obviously, people are going to have different opinions. Somebody might make a more in-depth video about this, but this is to give you a general idea. If you're somebody coming straight out of high school or still in college, these certifications at the top and middle will really give you a insight of what you need to do if you're trying to become a cybersecurity or networking professional, even trying to do network security. Okay, and as promised at the end of the video, one of the things I recommend that you do to be able to get most of these certs, for example, I know the Security Plus, A Plus, CYSA, Pentest Plus, a lot of these certs are offered in the WGU bachelor's program, okay? So the bachelor's program, if you get enrolled into that, it's not like traditional school. You could finish it in another 6 months if you really wanted to. And let's say you are eligible for financial aid, you'll probably only pay, I think at most, between $700 to $1,000. So if you were to get all of these certs from A plus to Pen Test Plus, it would rack you in more than $1,000. So it's already a steal, because with the bachelor's degree program, you're getting more than just those certs, and you're getting a bachelor's degree with it, which makes you even more valuable when you're doing your resume. All right. So that's the number one tip I recommend to go after this. And if you guys enjoyed this video, please make sure to hit that subscribe button and let me know down in the comments below what you would love to see next. I'm trying to help everybody trying to get into cybersecurity or trying to advance into cybersecurity or IT in general. You know, it's not just about cybersecurity. There's a lot of IT roles like networking people are forgetting about. All right. So if you want to see something new, make sure to let me know in the comments down below. I'll see you guys next time.